Greetings and salutations. Hi, how are you? My name is Jake Query, and that is Derek Schultz, who has a stupidly stoic, that's not even stoic, really, frozen grin on his face.
That's the S word that you were looking for.
It's hardly that.
Sexy.
This is episode number, I was thinking about this, Derek. Alexander Rossi is what I'm going with.
Oh, we still going to do the naming athletes thing, even though we're into the triple digits?
I mean, I don't know. This is the first time we've been in triple digits.
Yeah?
Right?
I mean, could we find somebody for 101? And then 102? And then 103?
I guess we just have to go.
That'd be kind of hard.
To Kumasato. Will Power.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to do that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Wilt Chamberlain.
Yeah,
Show
okay.
number 100.
Sure. That's fine.
Wilt Chamberlain.
Yeah, let's do that.
Should we hold up the little sign with a 100?
Yeah.
This is show number 100, which, if we were a television sitcom, they'd be doing like a best of, and Jerry Seinfeld comes out. Hi.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were here.
Or a crossover.
100 shows.
Let's have Kevin Bowen come in studio.
It's been a lot. Let's take a look back at some of our finest moments. That's what we would be doing. But instead, we're simply going to do a show, Derek, because it's football season. Football is upon us. Speaking of 100, I'm halfway there now, right?
Yeah, so another big milestone to celebrate
that's right.
on the show. Jake's
so there's a
50.
lot to talk about, right?
There is. College football is here starting Thursday, at least locally, with Purdue welcoming Penn State under the lights at Ross-Ade Stadium. That's a huge game. Indiana's got a huge game, too, that I think will really kind of define where this season goes in a critical year for Tom Allen. Notre Dame, Ohio State. So really all three teams. Jake, a lot of times opening week, you're used to Indiana playing like Western Michigan or something, and Purdue playing Army, and Notre Dame playing some nobody. Notre Dame usually opens against somebody fairly prominent. But to have three really consequential games, like if Purdue beats Penn State, it's not a season breaker if they lose, but if Purdue beats Penn State, then you can say, hey, I think this team could win 10 games.
Correct.
If Indiana loses to Illinois, you say to yourself, oh, God, I think they could go 2-10 again. And then if my God, even if Notre Dame hangs around with Ohio State, then you say maybe this team can make a run.
Here's the thing. I know that people think that I'm going to jump at any opportunity I can to pile on Notre Dame, and that's right. But I think Notre Dame's going to get their doors blown off. And I don't say that as a critique of Notre Dame. I think Ohio State this year offensively could be historically good. I think Ohio State could average 56 a game this year.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't see how anybody keeps up with them.
11 guys on offense that could all be NFL players.
Correct. That probably already are NFL players.
They have the best wide receiver room in the country. They have the Heisman favorite at quarterback. I mean, you go up and down.
They have a good running back.
It's incredible the level of talent that they put on the field. And that's what we've really talked about. Now, Clemson has kind of fallen off a bit in the last couple of years. But remember, like 3-4 years ago, we were talking about the gap in between just Alabama, Clemson, and Ohio State and everybody else.
Right.
And I think that gap still exists, where I think Notre Dame firmly over the past 5 or 6 years has been a top 10 level program. But there's still a gap between the 8th best program, which is probably Notre Dame, and the 2nd best program or 3rd best program, which is Ohio State.
Right. By the way, thank you to Bailey & Wood mortgage lender. Bailey & Wood, of course, locally. That's why their pins
I've got one too.
Are shaped like the state of Indiana. Because with Bailey & Wood, what you're getting is not only the best in terms of helping you get into a home with the best mortgage rates, but, Derek, most importantly, not only are you supporting a mom-and-pop family-owned Indiana business, but one that is dedicated to keeping their money, their initiatives all right here locally.
Yeah, everything that they did with that golf outing was to help local causes. They are around golf outings and charity events all over the state where they have branches and where they have a footprint. Now, their home office is down in Whiteland, but they do stuff everywhere around the state, and they just opened up a branch in Florida as well, but they still have that hometown feel as Indiana's mortgage lender. So 855-350-HOME, BAWFG.com, 855-350-HOME, BAWFG.com for their website at Bailey & Wood.
855-350-HOME.
Yeah. No, I know you're turning 50. You don't have to go that slow.
Well, but you went way fast.
Hi, Grandma. I really like my Christmas present. Like, you don't have to do that.
Was that you after you got your New York Jets starter jacket?
No, I was not happy about that. 1991 Christmas of 90 into 91, my parents would not buy me a video game system. We get a package from Thelma Schultz, South Bend, Indiana.
Yeah.
Open it up, bang, Sega Genesis. It's like, well, my son being born is 1A. 1B, best moment of my life is opening up that box as an 8-year-old and seeing a Sega Genesis sitting there. Like tied for the greatest moment of my life.
Right.
Yeah, amazing.
Now, what about the Jets starter jacket?
Not so much. She got confused. She thought that, New York football, hey, Derek's a New York fan. It was actually a Vinny Testaverde jersey. I'm going to get him a jersey of the New York team that he likes. It ended up being Vinny Testaverde. I did not want that. I think I wanted a Jason Sehorn jersey.
What did you say when you opened
I
it?
don't remember who I wanted instead.
What did you say when you opened it?
Well, she was in Indiana. So we opened it back home in Connecticut, but you always called. Grandma Thelma and my dad's brother, Uncle Greg, we always called them.
And that was Uncle Greg the one that won't get the vaccine?
No, that's an uncle on the other side of the family.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's mind control, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you called about the Vinny Testaverde jersey, did you say, like, he's my favorite player?
Oh, yeah. I said, tell me you love it. Well, I love it. Yeah, it's bright green. It's great. And that was the time where I really hated the Jets because I had friends that were really into the Jets. But I think we ended up donating it.
Vinny and the Jets, right?
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, what we don't hate because we love it, Lou Malnati's. You are
That's
inside
right.
the Lou Malnati's studio. We'll tell you more about Lou Malnati's now in their increased presence here in Central Indiana. The finest Chicago deep dish Chicago-style pizza that you're going to get.
Delicious.
And another one dedicated to Central Indiana. Derek, a lot to talk about. Let's go back to talking about college football. We'll begin with that Purdue matchup with Penn State. This is a big one because, I think for Purdue what's intriguing about them is it's a double-edged sword because Purdue football, I mean, you and I have been up there. We've seen the facility. I mean, they've put the resources in to get Purdue football back to being a big program. And Jeff Brom, by all accounts, is the guy, right? But at the same time, there is that thought and that process of like, okay, if they win 8 or more games, he's probably gone, right? I mean, the Louisville job, he's a little bit more open in talking about the Louisville job than he was, and basically has said, like, you never know. You never say never. And a couple years ago, I don't know that I was ready yet, that kind of thing. He seems to be hinting at it. But the recruiting process is such that maybe he's tempted to stay in West Lafayette.
Yeah, I would be very surprised with adding up all that we know if Jeff Brom is like the 20-year head coach at Purdue.
Right.
That would surprise me. I'm not completely shut off to that idea. I think this will be a constant in his career. Every time they're successful, hey, what's the next step going to be? And there's nothing wrong with that, right, Jake? I mean, even guys that we think are lifers, like I thought Brian Kelly was a lifer at Notre Dame, and he takes the LSU job. There's always another job.
He was looking out for his family.
But, speaking of, Jeff Braun's got a little bit of that Southern drawl with Kentucky and all of that. But I do think that last year, to me, just was like a culmination of solving all of the problems. And it's like all of the bad luck of 19 and 20 went away. It just melted away. And everything kind of broke Purdue's way last year. What I worry about with this team, I think they're a good team. I think the schedule is very palatable compared to what they've had, especially in the non-league. Their non-league, I think, I wrote it down here, Syracuse, FAU, and Indiana State. Purdue usually plays a very difficult non-league. That is not a difficult non-league.
Right.
So, and you miss Michigan State, you miss Michigan, you miss Ohio State. By far, your hardest crossover game in the East is Penn State, which is, I'd rather have Penn State week 1, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Especially under the lights with a ramped-up crowd. So I can see why this would be an 8-9 win team. You lose by far your 2 best players in Karlaftis and Bell. And Milton Wright.
But you got to wonder with some of those.
And that's what I worry about.
But are those guys and David Bell's a tremendous talent. Don't get me wrong. And I'm asking this, I don't know the answer, so I'm not asking rhetorically. Was David Bell so gifted and so good for Purdue that actually other guys were not getting a chance to show that they're pretty darn good players? And are those players ready to evolve where you go, oh, okay?
I think that, yes, I do think that some of the young players are ready to evolve, but David Bell and Karlaftis are once every 10-year guys.
You're right.
If you really look at when Purdue has had like transcendent players, the last one before Karlaftis was Kerrigan, right?
Right.
Pretty much. I mean, yeah, Kwan Short. I mean, they've had other like successful NFL guys, but not to that sort of level of like a first round NFL draft pick type guy or a takeover type guy. So that's what I worry about. What I'm comforted by is that you still have Aiden O'Connell, who's one of the best quarterbacks, not only in the Big Ten, but in the entire country. And when you have that solved and you have the genius of Braum, the offensive genius of Braum, I think they're going to be fine.
Okay, so let's talk about Indiana. You mentioned Illinois. It's one they got to get. I mean, that's just the reality to it. I worry, Derek, because Indiana, in typical Indiana fashion, who apparently has not learned with these things, they gave a ton of money to Tom Allen. And if Indiana's season goes south, there's not much they can do about it. Grin and bear it, right?
Yeah. I mean, if they go 2-10 again, I think you'd have a really hard time getting the fans to swallow that and say, I think they're willing to take this year. Because you got to remember, Jake, this is year 6. It's hard to believe. I still think of Tom Allen as like the coordinator.
Correct.
This is year 6, right? So if you're going to go 2-10 in year 5 and year 6, Pat Fitzgerald goes like this sometimes, and that's fine. Kirk Ferentz will have a bad season. I don't think you're going to find either of those coaches stringing together 2-10 seasons.
Tom Allen's job at this point, Derek, is to prove that the COVID year that is an anomaly to everyone else is not an anomaly to Indiana.
Yeah. I just think, to me, deep down, I think Indiana overachieved a bit in 1920, and I like to think that they're going to get back to being the program.
That was 100 years ago, 1920.
2019 and 2020. And I think they're going to get back to where they were during the Kevin Wilson into the Allen era, where they're like 6-ish wins, winning,
You're
hopefully
fighting for
getting
bowl
to
eligibility at the end of the year.
And winning a bowl. And I would be fine with that, occasionally winning 8 or 9 games. 2-10 to me, though, is unacceptable. Or 3-9 is unacceptable. And if they don't beat Illinois, it's hard to see a path for them, certainly to bowl eligibility, but it's hard to see a path for them to just be out of the Big Ten basement.
Right.
But I'll be interested to see what they do at quarterback, because I guess they know. We're taping this on Monday. I guess they know who it's going to be between Jack Tuttle and, is it Bazelak?
You got to go with Jack Tuttle, right?
Transfer.
I get it.
Tuttle maybe for the familiarity. Bazelak's got a little bit more of the track record. SEC co-freshman of the year previously, and has had more reps, I guess, game reps, than what Tuttle has had. But certainly Tuttle has the familiarity.
I still think it's weird Missouri's in the SEC for what that's worth.
I know. That is kind of strange.
Now,
but
what
these
about
first 5 games? Let me just run this down real quick. I mean, this dictates everything about Indiana's season, because as usual, they've got a pillowy, soft non-conference.
Pillowy.
Illinois, Idaho, Western Kentucky. They do have to go at Cincinnati. Cincinnati lost a lot of last. Gardner, Pierce, Ritter. A lot of those frontline players, and then at Nebraska, which I thought at the beginning of the season I was like, that'll be a tough one. But if Nebraska is going to continue to crap their pants,
it's unbelievable.
Then that's a winnable game. Why not?
Scott Frost. What did I say this morning?
They have too much talent to, you lose close.
What does Nebraska do? What does
and
Nebraska
over
do? They're being coached by Damon Bailey, right?
Yeah, it's just I don't know why they can't figure it out. And people say, well, Notre Dame went through this. Jake, Charlie Weiss was 3-9 one season. Those Bob Davie seasons were disappointing. They were never like bad, like in the basement outside of that 2007
schematic
season.
Advantage.
Yeah, it just they keep trying to figure it out. Nebraska should and probably will never be like the Ohio State level, Alabama level program again. But there's no excuse for Nebraska to not win 8 games every year.
Have you been to Nebraska?
No, I've never stepped foot in the state.
They are like a religion there.
Yeah. Well, our friend Brooke from the American Dairy, Indiana, grew up a big Huskers fan. Kyle Nedenrip grew up a big Huskers fan.
I didn't know
I think he grew up on the very western edge of Illinois, and his family were like season. I think they still are, if they haven't given up already or driven their car off a bridge. Season ticket holders for Nebraska football.
They drove all the way across the state of Iowa?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what the actual tie. I don't know if he has actual family that's in there too, but I'm pretty sure he went to school. Maybe he went to Southeast Missouri, or maybe he went to Western Missouri. Does Missouri? Let's see, Missouri, and then Arkansas somewhere weird in there.
Yeah.
Kansas.
Here, Indiana's in there.
Where are the Dakotas in this discussion? They're up and away. Where would be like Missouri and Nebraska? Do they border each other at a point?
Missouri borders more states than any state in the country.
So yes,
not
so
named Tennessee.
The answer is that maybe that's where I'm thinking of. Maybe they grew up in very western Missouri, and then Lincoln is central part of the state,
No,
or is it more east?
Lincoln's the very far east.
Very far, yeah. So there it is, western Missouri. That's where he grew up. He was a WeMo person.
Okay.
Is that what they call that area?
Now, you were a WeMo kid, right?
I don't understand.
A Weelil kid.
I still don't understand.
Okay. Well, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Chirp, chirp, Ball State also getting things underway, right?
Yeah, they're going to.
Are we going?
We're not going to Neyland. Is that what you mean?
No, not Neyland, but aren't we at some point going to a Ball State game?
Yeah, we have 2 Ball State remote dates in the month of October.
October, okay.
Yes. So that's when we're going to be up there at the shoe.
Love that.
But BSU Chirp Chirp Cardinals going to Neyland Stadium.
Taking on Tennessee. So, and you never know. I mean, shock the world, baby.
Of annual disappointments, you never know. Maybe you catch Tennessee napping. Because that's a team every single year. Like Nebraska, well, they're going to win the Big Ten West. Okay, they go 5-7.
Right.
Tennessee, up here they are. All right. Okay, yep, they're 5-7.
If you are a Ball State fan and you're thinking about going to go cheer on Chirp Chirp your Cardinals in Neyland Stadium, not only do you need to go to home games because it's a fabulous value and it's a great, smaller stadium where your kids can go and watch college football, but you need to go to Tennessee. If you've never been to a Tennessee night game, total different atmosphere.
I'm sure. Lincoln,
it's unbelievable.
Lincoln, too, is the same way. But a night game, any of those places. LSU's Death Valley, night game in Knoxville.
Clemson?
Night game in the Swamp.
Have you been to a Clemson game?
No.
Boy, I've taken about everybody. Crispy, I think,
You
went with me.
offered me one weekend.
I don't think so.
It was like noon against like Morgan State, and I was like, you need to. I mean, we're best friends. You got to up the ante a little bit there. Tom Spalding, who I barely knew at the time, and now we know each other because our kids go to the same school. He took me to UK Louisville. I mean, if I'm going to go to a Clemson game with you, I need it to be like Clemson, Georgia. 8 p.m. prime time.
Let me check on that here.
I will.
Unlikely.
I'm not going to a Clemson noon ACC network game with you.
Taylor Tannenbaum might be working.
That's not what I'm doing. That would be nice to see Taylor and all of that. But yeah, I'm going to a prominent game. I want to go to a game.
Let me shake my magic 8 ball and ask if I'm going to invite you to a game
that reflects our relationship.
Outlook not good.
I want to go to a game that reflects our relationship. I've put in the years. I've put in the work. Okay. I've put up with a lot. I want to be reciprocated there in the game that you choose for me to go. So I'm completely open to going to a Clemson game with you, but it's going to have to be a little bit better than Georgia Southern.
Furman.
No, you already invited me to the Furman game a couple of years ago, and I said I think I made up an excuse. I think I said Ashley was sick.
Let me look at their schedule here.
I'm not doing an FCS team.
Check their schedule. I'm sure
you got to do a lot better than that.
Okay. I'll look at their schedule, and I'll let you know which options are available. How's that?
It's time a little bit early in the show than usual to do our WGU Indiana Sage Move of the Week, because to me it relates to college football. Because I saw this. We were just talking about Nebraska, and, obviously they somehow lose that game in Dublin to Northwestern. But the big storyline out of that game, and all these tweets were coming out during it in Dublin, was that everybody was getting free beer.
Oh, that's incredible.
Because at Aviva Stadium,
that's Live Stadium, right?
Is that how you say it? Aviva? Is that an airline? Okay. No, it's not an
airline. It is now.
Okay. Well, 1 for 2 there. Levy Restaurants that does all these, or Levy or whatever, their UK branch said that there was a problem with their payment provider. And it was not with the stadium's internet, because I remember seeing that it was the stadium's internet that was down. That was the reason for this. They were unable to process any card transactions for 2 full hours. So instead of saying, okay, everybody has to pay cash or you don't get beer, they just said, everybody gets free beer.
What?
So the lines were crazy. They did the big beer snake cups where, you hold it.
Is it Guinness
20
only?
rows in front of you.
Guinness only?
I guess there was Guinness. Ronan McGowan. Hey, Ronan said he got 3 or 4 plastic cups of Guinness, but it took 40 minutes. I missed the game. In fairness, most people didn't have cash, but they did the right thing under the circumstances.
Now, Derek, here are the games that Clemson has. You let me know which one.
Okay.
Furman?
No.
Okay. Well, I'm taking Hammer and Nigel to that game.
Great.
Louisiana Tech?
No, not doing that game.
Yeah, Dan Dockett just going with me.
Getting warmer.
North Carolina State?
I thought about that because they sometimes lose to North Carolina State randomly, and I think it'd be hilarious for you to take me to a Clemson game and then have Clemson lose.
Actually, hold on. I forgot. Tony Katz is going to that game with me.
Okay.
Syracuse?
No. Not good enough.
Syracuse game? Okay.
No, not good enough of a program.
Anthony Calhoun's going anyway because Syracuse.
Are they playing like A&M or somebody this year?
Louisville?
We're getting a little bit better, but no.
You know what?
Not quite to the level of our friendship.
Yeah.
It has to be like an ACC championship game preview level opponent.
Okay. Ryan Gregson's supposed to go to the Louisville game with me. South Carolina?
No. No, I'm not taking the SEC opponent, but they're a bottom barrel SEC opponent. Is that it for the home schedule?
I donated those to charity. Yeah, that's it. So
we'll have to wait till 2023 then.
Always next year, right?
Yeah, I think they play Texas, don't they? In 2028, we can go to that game.
What about Notre Dame? You want to go to the Notre Dame game together?
Yeah.
At Notre Dame? I'm sorry. Kevin Bowen's going with me to that.
Oh, okay. Well,
Show
I see where I stand. WGU.edu/Indiana. Get your degree on your own time with our friends at WGU.
WGU, by the way, if you are thinking about going back and finishing, maybe you're one of the 700,000 Hoosiers who has college credits that you never finished, or maybe you're thought about going back to school for the very first time, getting certification for a job, WGU has you covered. WGU.edu/Indiana is where you can get not only certifications, but whether you're going back to school or thinking about trying it for the very first time, Indiana's largest online accredited university is WGU. Fantastic opportunities, and sage the owl because ambition never rests.
That's right. We never rest either. Segment 2, we're going hard at it.
That's why I'm yawning.
Colts preseason wrap. What did we learn about the Colts through the last couple of weeks? I don't know. That's what we're going to answer next.
Okay.
More features to get to as well. It's Corey and Schultz, ISC Sports Network. Don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Jeff Saturday, and my favorite thing when I was a professional football player was Indiana. The Hoosier State always made me feel like family. That's why I trust Indiana's hometown mortgage lender, Bailey & Wood. This family-owned company not only gives back to the communities they serve, but also with their 5-star customer service, they can close on your dream home in days, not weeks. So remember, Indiana, you can always get your mortgages at a snap with Bailey & Wood.
Hey, Jeff, how does this look? Yay!
Not bad, bud, but let's stick to mortgages.
Other universities didn't fit into my life.
They said I'd have to quit my job to go to school.
They said it would take me 4 years to graduate. They said I have to take tests when they tell me to.
They said my degree would cost a fortune.
But I didn't have to listen to them.
Because I have a university that listens to me.
Tests on your time, courses on your time, graduate on your time. WGU, the University of You.
Welcome back. It's Corey and Schultz here on the ISC Sports Network alongside Clemson fan Jake Query. I'm Derek Schultz, hoping to go to
Tiger
the
Rag.
Clemson game.
Nah, no time soon.
At some point, maybe in 2023, we're going to take a look at that schedule.
Uh-huh.
The Colts schedule is all done, at least for the preseason. 3 preseason games in the books. They wrapped up camp in Westfield last Thursday. So now we wait for the start of the Colts season in Houston coming up here about 2 weeks. Well, 2 weeks from yesterday. We're taping this right now on Monday.
I think, Derek, the preseason, what you want to do is 2 things. Number one, you want to stay healthy.
Mm-hmm. Which largely
for the most part,
done.
the Colts
yeah.
have done. And number 2 is you want to make sure that you have depth at as many positions as possible. And I feel like in most areas the Colts do have some depth. I don't know that you can ever have enough of it on offensive line,
Mm-hmm.
and for that matter, defensive line. But it looks like defensive line, you know, there might be some drop-off, obviously, when you go from, you know, their starters on D-line and then those behind it. But there's competency in those behind it. So I feel like the defensive line is an area where they're pretty deep. Now, Greg Rakestraw may disagree with me. You know, he saw this team up close and personal in working the television broadcast of the preseason games. But corner and defensive line, I feel like on the defensive standpoint, they're in pretty good shape. The one area that concerns me still, and I don't mean to bang on this because it's been the easy topic, but not necessarily who's going to catch the ball from Matt Ryan, but where is the depth at that? Because the reality is guys get hurt in the NFL, and there's precedent for the Colts receiving room to get hurt. And I don't know that they have the depth there that they'd like.
Mm-hmm.
But I think overall it's a pretty good roster. I think it's what interested me about this year's preseason is there really, in my opinion, there was nobody that really jumped out at you where they said, oh, my goodness, this guy, they got to make room for him. Now, Sam Ehlinger, but he was already on the roster.
Sterling Weatherford, but we're talking about guys 51, 52, 53.
Correct.
I would have rather had guy 20 really show out.
Well, they also didn't have anybody other than Ben Banigou who might have been – it was a big camp for him, and it was a big preseason for him. And I think that he probably solidified his spot on the roster. The Sands were quickly going through his hourglass, right? But new coordinator, he did play well against Tampa. He probably cemented himself. I just don't think that necessarily this is a year where anybody on the roster jumped out as going to be a big surprise. Either way, good or bad.
Yeah, and I was hoping, and you're right. I mean, Banigou, in the grand scheme of things, is probably DE6. I mean, if we're doing the depth chart, I'm assuming they're going to keep
That's 6th defensive end?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he's kind of more of the LEO type, which I know is your favorite new thing.
The Leo.
Yeah. So being that guy.
Let me tell you something. In the local media market, there are 10 of us.
I shouldn't have said anything.
10 or 12 of us. Many of which have been around for a long time. We're stale. We know it. Greg Rakestraw has been around about as long as I. He's covered far more than I have, and he's been inside NFL locker rooms far more than I. Everybody started talking about this Leo position. Well, he plays well at the Leo. He does this at the Leo. He does that at the Leo. This is the RPO, the yak, the red zone, the lower red zone. This is the new catchphrase. Yeah. If you want to sound like a football expert, do you want to sound like you know what you're talking about? Do you want to be smarter than your friends? Do you want to generate water cooler conversation and have people talk about how you think outside the box? Use the term Leo. Leo is a new term that somebody came up with like 3 weeks ago, and I was relieved to find that Greg Rakestraw, who is far more credentialed at covering NFL games than I, when I asked him about it, said, Jake, I'm not going to lie to you, that's the first time I've ever heard the term Leo. Because, in the words of Morgan Freeman in Shawshank Redemption, it's nothing more than a made-up BS word so that cute fellas like you could have a suit. Anyway, as you were.
But I agree with you. And now that you're done with your rant, I agree with you about
solid rant, though, wasn't it?
Their defensive depth chart. I really like. You're right about defensive end and defensive tackle in general. D-line, they have bodies.
They
do.
They
have bodies.
And Derek, here's the thing.
Unproven bodies,
but they have bodies that seem to have some lateral movement. And by that I mean not only when they're playing, but also that you can kind of plug in a couple different spots and some versatility. I'll tell you what. A rising star, perhaps, when I said nobody's really jumped out, maybe I was wrong there. Towards the end of camp, a guy that looks like he could be, and part of it makes it fun because of his name, Grover Stewart can play.
Oh, he's been undersold for years.
And he's going to be a good player.
Overshadowed. I think the secret's out about Grover Stewart. Their best spot, and this actually helps considering that I don't think Shaq Leonard's going to play week 1. And I'm thinking this is going to be – it's not a given yet with what we know now. But I think that's going to be an issue. Their deepest and best spot to me on the entire depth chart is linebacker. Because I think, even when you get beyond Okereke and Leonard, presuming that he's healthy, E.J. Speed is a really good player. Zaire Franklin is a good player. And 2 of your best camp players are the 2 linebackers who I'm assuming are going to both make the roster in Dolman and Weatherford. So I think you feel pretty good about what you have there. I think in the secondary you do too. With Faison and Rogers backing up Moore and Gilmore. I mean, Gilmore is the guy that everybody's been raving about at camp. But what I worry about, again, Jake, is, and I hate to sound like a broken record, God forbid, if Michael Pittman went down, you would be up a river. I mean, right. You'd be screwed. They're just so thin there, where I think the depth chart is fine as it is, but if even one of those guys goes out, if Paris Campbell has another injury, if Alec Pierce can't hit the ground running, then I think you're in trouble at wide receiver.
Who was your Super Bowl pick?
You know what? I haven't even thought about it. I
think the Colts are in serious play if they stay healthy.
Really?
Yes, because of the fact, Derek, that their division. They're going to have a unique advantage here because they should win their division. And if they do, then boom, home playoff game, right? Yeah. Is Cincinnati going to maintain? then the Chargers, the AFC West going to cannibalize itself. The AFC North, okay, Cincinnati, never, ever sell out Baltimore. Never rule out Baltimore. And then the East, New England, okay. Buffalo's obviously great, right? But I'm going to say the two surprise teams in the AFC this year in the thick of it in the playoffs are going to be Indianapolis and Baltimore.
You know who I think is actually going to be a lot more competent than people think?
Raiders.
And, I think people think they're going to be competent,
Broncos.
Right? No, just stop yelling. Let me answer the
Browns.
question. Can I do this?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of this depends on the week 1 game.
Dolphins.
Can you not? Let's get that last one and post that one because my anger level's rising. All right, 3, 2, 1.
Sorry.
I think it's going to be Houston. I think they're going to be more competent. What I mean is, I think people look at Houston as like a 3-14
Are you
team.
sure you want to start over with that?
I think Houston can be.
We might want to start
hover
that over.
close towards 500. I do.
Okay. I do think that they probably have better quarterback
Now
play.
I'm like really putting myself out there because that's not a good roster.
Right.
But I do think they're going to be a little more competent than people think.
Okay.
Yeah. It's too easy to just say, Super Bowl prediction. I don't know, Buffalo.
That's what I mean.
How about that roster's just loaded.
Is Pittsburgh going to be any good?
I don't know.
They got good play out of Kenny Pickett.
What's really interesting is
serious.
how good Pickett and Malik Willis have looked in the preseason.
I know.
Because everybody took a dump on this quarterback
But
class.
nobody's doing anything
It's
defensively in the
preseason.
preseason,
It's
right?
the preseason. If you're not looking good, then something's going wrong.
Right.
Sam Ellinger looks great. Can you imagine if Sam Ellinger was a rookie? This is like Chad Kelly on steroids, what he's been doing so far.
Is he on steroids?
No, I don't think so. He's a little guy.
Chad Kelly?
But I think Sam Ellinger has solidified, don't you? They're going to roster 3 quarterbacks.
Yes.
Right? I'd be.
I'm telling you,
2 weeks
Derek,
ago, I would have been
said-
shocked, and now it's a guarantee to me.
I
that they're
said a
gonna
week
roster 3.
ago that I thought that Sam Ellinger, not thought. I asked the question, is Sam Ellinger closing any gap at all on the backup quarterback position? Because if Matt Ryan goes down, you're pretty much you're probably screwed, right?
Yeah.
And it was like, are you kidding me? Now, again, he's seeing defenses that are very vanilla. But he's done everything they've asked, Sam Ellinger. He's done literally everything that's been asked and more.
Frank Reich even said that.
And I think that
Frank Reich said he's done everything he could do.
yeah. No, I think he's in good shape.
Yeah, to be QB3. Well, he's going to end up being QB3.
Yeah, they just know, though, they can't put him on the practice squad. They're going to lose him.
Other thing that I'm concerned about is that, and they keep begging for somebody to come in and take his job, and everybody keeps failing. Is Blankenship going to be there mentally? Does he have the leg to be a good kicker? Because
It's a Lego.
the trade-off for upgrading with Matt Ryan is that you're hoping to get in scoring position more. Like late in the game, 2 minutes left, you feel good about Matt Ryan as opposed to
It's
Carson
Ryan.
Wentz, Jacoby Brissett. Matt Ryan.
It's Ryan.
Matt Ryan.
Derek.
I'm saying it.
No, it's multisyllabic. It's Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan. You feel a lot
Ryan.
better with him.
Ryan.
Matt Ryan.
No.
Yes.
You're going with Rhine, like the river. It's Ryan.
Matt Ryan.
Ryan.
Matt Ryan. I'm saying it right. I don't know what the problem
You're saying
is.
it wrong.
Matt Ryan.
You're saying it in the same number of syllables that the word wrong is. It's Ryan.
I know how to pronounce
Okay,
Ryan.
let me ask you this. The kind of bread, a marble what?
Rye.
Okay. The opposite of out.
In.
Okay. Put those two together.
Ryan. I'm saying it's 2 words. Matt Ryan.
If he were to win the Indianapolis 500, what would he drink?
Milk.
Well, at least you're starting to get that right.
Yeah, milk. Time for our Lou Malnati's Who's Cooking this week.
Oh, is it Matt Ryan?
Why do you always make fun of my pronunciations? You have all
Or
kinds of dumb
is
stuff.
it Jim Nile?
Jim Nile?
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is.
Bill
4
Thames?
indie area locations of Lou Malnati's. Our favorite in Broad Ripple. Southsiders, you can go down to the Greenwood store. Northwest Siders.
I guarantee you in the Greenwood store, they say Matt Ryan's name with as many syllables
It's across
as
the street
possible.
from Brebeuf. I interviewed Matt Ryan for a Q&A with Indy Monthly. He's a great guy. And up in Carmel, so Northsiders, you can head up to the Carmel store.
The tomatoes are literally
Illuminati's.
this big inside Illuminati's Chicago-style buttercrust deep dish pizza. The best, right? You want to talk
Delicious.
about a delicacy right there in front of you. It's everything that you would want. And more than just pizza, to be honest.
I decided you're not traveling for IndyCar, right?
For
IndyCar this week?
no.
All right, Friday, lunch date. You and me, Lou Malnati's. We're doing it.
Well, Illuminati's for sure.
Lou Malnati's, Broad Ripple, just two guys enjoying each other's company, having lunch. We could pick a Clemson game, future Clemson game as well.
Okay.
And talk about birthday plans.
Now, if we were going to go to a Clemson game in Chicago, if they were playing, let's say, at Soldier Field, we would get on what expressway? The Dan what?
Dan Ryan.
Okay.
I don't know why you're giving me a hard time about this. I'm saying it correctly.
Okay. If you think
Like
so.
you're saying that I'm saying it too fast? Like I'm combining it into
You're
one
saying-
word? Like a rhinestone?
Yes, that's exactly how you're
Is
saying
that?
it. Yes.
No, I'm not saying that.
So anyway, Illuminati's who's cooking?
I went with the punter. Matt
Yeah.
Hawk has done a really nice job so far, and
He has.
it's kind of like found money for the Colts.
Derek, it's amazing. This is a franchise with an accidental coach, an accidental quarterback, and now an accidental punter.
Yeah, you've lucked into it.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, Rigoberto Sanchez gets hurt, which seemingly was a huge loss. And literally, like, the next day, Buffalo waives a punter because they have a guy that they consider to be very promising, a young player, that the Colts acquire him. And the day after that, the guy that Buffalo decided to go with is released because of a terribly gross sexual assault scandal.
Yeah.
So, listen, one game does not a season make, one preseason game in particular. But for Hawk to come out and do what he did and place the ball where he was able to and pinpoint punt, he had a hell of a game. And he can hold.
He had 5 punts. They averaged 50 yards, 4 of them inside the 20. And he's got the track record as well. I mean, Hawk has played 5 NFL
Why are
seasons.
you doing that?
Because there's an extra A on his name. That's
Why
how
are you coming up with an extra syllable for Hawk when there is none and taking it away from Ryan?
I'm like 99% sure that's how you pronounce his name.
I'm 99% sure it's Matt Ryan.
I went on a Dolphins. He played 4 seasons for the Dolphins. I went on the pronunciation guide, and it looked like Hawk, kind of like Mac. Instead of like Ball State plays in the Mac, Fairfield plays in the Mac. Kind of the same thing. So Hawk brings a lot to the table for them, and it's just kind of turnkey. Like there's no learning curve with somebody like that in replacing Rigoberto Sanchez.
Friday, I went to Shelbyville and got my hair cut, and Alex, my barber, is cutting it and says, "It looks like you're getting a little more gray."
Yes, significantly more gray.
Would you like to guess why? People ask if it's because I'm getting up early now. It's not. It's random syllables where they don't belong, going monosyllabic where it's not appropriate, things that drive me bonkers.
The thing is that you say all of this publicly, yet on tomorrow's show with Kevin, you'll be taking, like, I always look at this show as a way for you to, like, a learning opportunity for you. And you take what I impart onto you during this show to your radio show, and that's why the radio show is going like this. It's really succeeding because you've been a little more open to learning than when you and I were on the air together.
Did you and I, when we were on the air together, go like this?
I mean, yeah, it was a rocket ship, so it was more like this.
Okay. And how was that possible if I wasn't open to learning?
Because you had me doing a lot of the heavy lifting, but eventually you became open to learning.
Or just naturally.
So, and it just kind of slows down the show. Like, let's just roll with it. Lou Malnati's Who's Cooking This Week, Matt Hawk, and he is our winner for this week. Order.loumalnatis.com for our friends at Lou's Lunch Date Friday, you and me. We'll talk more about Matt Hawk. We've got features coming up, including Hoagies.
Maybe one will fly overhead while we're out there on the outdoor patio.
I hope not. It's covered on the outdoor patio. Luckily, they're in the beautiful store in Broad Ripple. More features to get to, more sports. Jake's turning 50. So, Jake Query, this is your life. We're going to do that on episode 100 here, Query and Schultz, as we continue on ISC.
Hey, I'm Jeff Saturday, and my favorite thing when I was a professional football player was Indiana. The Hoosier State always made me feel like family. That's why I trust Indiana's hometown mortgage lender, Bailey & Wood. This family-owned company not only gives back to the communities they serve, but also with their 5-star customer service, they can close on your dream home in days, not weeks. So remember, Indiana, you can always get your mortgages at a snap with Bailey & Wood.
Hey, Jeff, how does this look? Yay!
Not bad, bud, but let's stick to mortgages.
McCulling in time. Oh, no! It's good. This one is good. There you go. Wow, Dawson makes a great catch. Spin, win, 3, bury it for Leland Walker. Tie the game they do with the dunk by Malik Edmonds. What a play. Oh, my goodness. I feel a little momentum starting to fall Ellen's way. Wrestler! Wrestler! Whoa!
It's a really good sandwich, Dirk.
Yeah. I wish
I'm not going to
you
swear.
would wait before we got to that because
How can
you're
you wait?
chomping away.
How can you wait?
It's difficult to wait,
It is.
but it's the professional thing to do. Welcome back to Query and Schultz, ISC Sports Network.
Unbelievable.
We have here, as you've already probably deduced, our Hoagies and Hops Hoagie of the week. We'll get to our hero here in just a second, but this hoagie, I know we say every sandwich is like one of our favorites. This really is one of my favorites. It's a little bit of a throwback for me. I was a big roast beef sandwich fan as a kid. As I got older, I got into like the Italians and those meats, and so I prefer the Hog Island's number one in my power rankings. This is undoubtedly the best roast beef I've ever had before because it's London broil. So it's just super tender and delicious. And sorry, I've already taken a couple of bites out of this, but what this is called is the Keystone.
Oh, really?
So it's London broil, house horsey mayo, lettuce, tomato, onion, right? Bada bing, bada boom. Easy peasy. And provolone.
Do you know why it's called the Keystone?
So it's basically their roast beef and cheese sandwich. Because Pennsylvania is the Keystone State.
How'd you know that?
It used to say it on their license plates, didn't it?
Correct.
Yeah.
Did you ever drink Keystone Light?
Oh, yeah. Key Rocks, we call them. They had 30 racks at
30
the
racks.
CVS in
Okay.
Bloomington. And my dad gave me a credit card when I was at IU. And I used to buy at the CVS because there was a really nice old lady
You know what
there.
that credit card was from your dad?
What's that?
30 racks for the son.
Okay. Well, anyway, I was like, if my dad sees Big Red Liquors on the receipt, he's going to think something's up, right? Or Bloomington Liquors.
Correct.
So I'm going to go to CVS and $9.99 for a 30 rack, so 30 Key Rocks. We'd play Beirut with them. You guys call it beer pong out here.
Okay.
And that's what we do because you need at least 30 usually to do that. And he got the receipt and he said, hey, why are there 5 purchases for exactly $9.99 at CVS? I'm like, well, I'm buying, deodorant and shampoo. And he's like, so every single Thursday and Friday you're going to buy deodorant and shampoo and toothpaste for $9.99 at CVS, and then kind of figured out what was going on. Hi, Dad, if you're watching, I'm sorry that I used the credit card on
Was
beer.
he upset about it?
My parents were more of the I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed people than the angry, sort of parents.
Now, in the time that we've worked together, have you ever seen me mad at you?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Disappointed? Yeah.
Disappointed for sure. But yes, there have been 3 or 4 times where you were legitimately mad at me.
Really?
Yeah.
You consider me an angry fellow?
And it was always times where I
We're wrong.
No, and a lot of times inadvertently showed you up.
Okay.
And you felt threatened by that.
I'd like an example.
Which I kind of understand.
Okay, I'd like an example where you showed me up.
We one time had a call from somebody who you weren't really you were kind of upset with, a caller who was talking about how I think you talked too much or something. You told stories that went on too long. Mm-hmm. And it was a little bit heated between you and the caller. We liked when people called the show. We very rarely got into arguments with the callers. But anyway, it got a little heated, whatever. We ended up dropping the call, let him go. And then 5 minutes later, we're still in the same segment. I kind of made a joke where, you were saying something and then I was like, oh, God, I didn't know if you'd ever stop talking. And your face turned red.
Really? Okay.
You said, let's go to a break. We went to a break. And you hit me on the intercom thing because we were sitting in separate rooms.
Mm-hmm.
And you said, if you ever effing do that again, blah, 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 some sort of a physical threat. Because I went to corporate with it. I had to file a report. So I did that. And then things kind of blew over after that. Like a week or two later, things were okay. We were best friends again. But I did overstep. I apologize because I felt, but I had
By
to.
going to corporate? Yeah,
no,
I mean,
I felt physically threatened. So I had to, I didn't really, look at me. I don't feel physically threatened by you. But it was a physical threat, a threat of physical nature. So automatically,
okay.
According to the WNDE handbook, I had to go to corporate with it. I was obligated to do that. So I did.
The WNDE handbook?
Yeah.
Yeah, I never saw that.
You had to sign every year that you read it.
What's that?
You had to sign that form every year that you read it and submit it.
That parent company.
Yeah.
When the handbook that they gave us, I noticed that every chapter was chapter 11.
Okay.
It's weird.
Well, that's a mean thing to say now that you've moved on to another company. So we're 8.5 great years of our life. So we've got our Hoagie of the Week here at the Keystone. Our Hero of the Week, speaking of the radio days, good friend of ours for many, many years, and a guy that was very active with our radio station because we carried the Indianapolis Indians games. Howard Kellman is calling a game for the New York Yankees. How about that? 6,500-plus games with the Indians, and now Howard is going to get his third Major League call-up. He called a game for the White Sox or a couple games for the White Sox in '84. I don't remember. Do you not remember? He did a game for the Mets.
He did a game for Pittsburgh
when we were on the air. I think that was a spring training game, though. He did a game for the Mets when we were on the air like 10 years ago, and I don't remember if this was a similar circumstance to what's happening here with the Yankees or what. But needless to say, he's done it a couple times. He'll be in with Susan Waldman, filling in for John Sterling. And for people that don't know, John Sterling
Can they get Roger Clemens to come back?
Well, that was the famous Susan Waldman call. But John Sterling is the Yankees win. He's that guy. So longtime radio voice, WFAN, which I grew up listening to. They were the first sports radio station in the market. Mike Francesa and Chris Mad Dog Russo. Mike and the Mad Dog was WFAN. So I'm just tickled. I think it's amazing. I used to listen to Yankee games on the radio all the time because I had a girlfriend in Jersey the last summer that I went home, so I'd listen to the Yankees coming on the way back, but they were on CBS 880 then.
What were the Yankees?
Mets were on the fan.
Were the Yankees good then?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the Yankees have been good
So
really outside of when I was in I think when I was in fourth grade was the last year the Yankees had a losing record.
On your way home driving back from Jersey to listen to the game so that someone was scoring, right?
I did pretty well. Yeah, if that's what you're asking. Yeah. Okay. But it was hard because it was AM radio, and I had the windows down because I was smoking cigarettes. And so I had to have it cranked up to full volume.
You and Snooki having some lung darts?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's good.
So congratulations to our friend.
Congratulations to Howard. Very well deserved.
What a really cool honor.
Very well deserved.
Last plug for Hoagies and Hops. Hoagie eating contest right around the corner, September 10th.
Yep.
6th annual. 2:30 p.m. on Saturday. Benefits HVAF of Indiana, which is the homeless veterans and families. You can email Christina or register in person. Just $25 to enter. Winner gets a free 18-inch hoagie every month.
Email her where?
Christina with a K at hoagiesandhops.com.
Okay.
And you and I are going to have our own. We're going to shoot a video. I just got a tooth pulled, so we're going to wait. See in the back? Do you see it?
I'm not looking. Did
Here,
you keep it?
let me get the studio lights.
Okay. Did they let you keep it?
No, they didn't let me keep
Well,
it.
here, I'll show you something. They didn't let me keep my wisdom.
They gave
teeth.
me some sort of a sedative, so I was in and out of it. But he
that's
had
good.
like this 25-year-old assistant with him, and Forever Young came over the speakers because, you know, it's like easy listening, right? You're in a endodontist office. And he goes, "Can you name this artist?" And she goes, "Led Zeppelin?" And I go, "Huh," like that. And I think they were surprised that I was like with it enough to hear that.
Just so you know, since you showed me which is nice. There you go.
Oh, gross. How many teeth did you get pulled? My God.
All 4 wisdom teeth.
Oh, those are okay.
I had all 4. You can't see that, but I had all 4. Isn't that beautiful?
It's
Look at
disgusting.
that is beautiful. All 4 of my wisdom teeth pulled. Dr. Tim Devitt down in Bloomington did it for me. No, didn't knock me out. I said, just give me local only. I want to be awake. A lot of this.
Yeah.
And then I was on blood thinners, so a lot of blood. Yeah, but I mean.
Yeah, see, they gave me a sedative. Then they gave me like, you know, the serious. I've picked up a prescription like twice in my life because I'm healthy in the prime of my life. And it was weird to like, you know, get like the pills like with the warning labels on them. Like these are narcotics. So I'm like, okay. Like from watching way too many episodes of Intervention, I always get a little bit nervous.
Totally. Did your dad find it odd that you were again racking up $9.99 at the CVS card?
Yeah, I know. Well, now I get the CVS bill to my house because it's my own credit card. It's not Daddy's credit card anymore.
That's good to know.
Let's talk about your 50th birthday coming up right around the corner this weekend.
It is Saturday. That is correct.
Yeah. Do you want to tell the story of what happened, or do you want to not divulge that publicly?
No, I'll tell it.
Okay.
I should thank Derek, and as well.
Always.
What's that?
That's a universal truth.
Yeah.
Any week.
As well as my girlfriend Shannon. I'm disappointed for both of them. I will leave out names as to not make anybody feel too guilty, but my 50th birthday is in fact Saturday. I was scheduled to be at the IndyCar race in Portland, and just for a number of reasons, I just thought, you know what, I want to be here on my 50th birthday. Birthdays to me, okay, whatever, but my 50th admittedly does have an added significance to me.
Because you almost died?
Correct. And the day before I almost died, I sent a text that said, I'll drop dead of a heart attack and will never live to see 50. And the next day I had a heart attack. Or maybe 2 days before, but it's to my friend Lori Paz, who I've known since I was in kindergarten. So, and then I texted her from my hospital bed and said, you're not going to believe what just happened. But at any rate, my mom had asked me what I wanted for my birthday, and I said, the only thing I want for my birthday is for once to not have to plan anything. Coordinate with Shannon and let me know where we're going. I didn't necessarily mean surprise birthday party, but I figured maybe we'd go to dinner and a few people would be there and whatnot. It is my understanding, while I don't know the specifics, nor do I want to know them so that there is still some element of surprise, that Derek, kudos to you, according to Shannon and my sister, Derek is the one that reached out several months ago and said, should we start putting something together? So Shannon then, I think along with you, worked very hard and very detailed to come up with a surprise party for me. And I honestly had no idea. And then Friday night we were at dinner, and while at dinner, I ran into somebody who was mutual friends with a family member of mine who said, hey, happy birthday. And I said, oh, thanks. How did you know it's my birthday? And he said, oh, well, I mean, your family member told me about it. They have a huge party planned for you on Saturday night at da-da, and gave the location and everything else and told me the whole spiel. And I went, okay. So then I battled whether or not to say anything and pretend surprised. And I finally went to Shannon and said, listen, I'm aware of now the party. She was pretty upset, pretty disappointed, understandably so, as was I. But I appreciate that it's been put together. I don't know who all is going to be there. I don't know if anything is planned other than just people hanging out and having a beer. But either way, I look forward to it on Saturday.
Yeah. I actually –
And then my understanding is Shannon said that the best part about it was in the planning, you were the decoy, which means you won't be there, which that part was cool too.
I will be there. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not – have you gotten together with Shannon?
I haven't talked to her in several weeks.
Yeah, it turns out the surprise might
but
actually
I was
be
planning
yours.
to be there. Well, I know the private room space that you're talking about, and there is a back alley entrance. So if need be, I will force open the door.
I'll make sure that's shut.
If need be, I'm just telling you, I will force open the door. Because as big of a day as this is for you, it's an even bigger day for me because I'm the planner or co-planner of the 50th birthday party.
Were you upset when it went awry?
I knew it was going to go awry. It's like when I send an errand text and I said, yeah, I think we'll tell my parents coming up here on Father's Day because it was supposed to go to my wife because she's the only person I talk to more than you, regrettably. And it went to you, and you said, oh, so you're having a kid? You were the first person that found out before my parents
right.
that I was having
now,
a child.
Derek, I'm going to again give myself credit here. I'm strong at this. I'm going to again give myself credit. Will you admit to this?
You didn't blow the surprise.
I didn't tell a single person.
Yeah, you didn't blow the surprise, which I appreciate.
Never said a single word to anybody.
Yeah. I think it'll be a fun party. I don't actually know the guest list either. Shannon's just taken the ball and ran with it. To give me any sort of credit at all, I mean, I texted her in I don't know, March.
Right.
And was like, hey, are you thinking about doing a surprise party for Jay? Because I think it'd be cool. And I suggested the space that she ended up choosing. That's it. That's basically and I helped pick the menu. That's basically where I were the decoy. Been to help.
Or you were running interference, I think. Or
yeah.
You were the on-site eyes to let her know,
Yeah. I mean, we'll have to take the walkie-talkies back. I ordered those online. So we had we had walkie-talkies that Shannon and I were going to use. And she had a, what is it? Not IED. That's improvised explosive device. IFD, right? Is that right? Those the ear things?
IFB.
IFB, yes. I knew it was an E sound. Yeah, IFB. She's going to have that as well, but now we don't need any of that. Doesn't have to be all secretive. Are you going to get, like, emotional? Like, sometimes you get a little emotional.
I don't know. I mean,
it depends on who's there, right?
And I don't know if I'm, like, speaking. I mean, I have no idea what is planned, but I don't know. I don't know what my reaction will be.
We have 45 minutes available for a speech because that's Shannon a lot of the time. She said 15 minutes. I was like, it's Jake, so 45. And he's talking about himself.
Yeah, I don't know whether I will get emotional or not, to be honest with you. I mean, it depends on how long you're there.
Yeah. Are we going to hug?
No. Angry, maybe.
I'm willing to give you a hug. No. If you want to, on your 50th birthday, I'm willing to give you a hug.
No,
I don't know if we've ever, outside of San Antonio, I don't know if we've ever embraced before.
No, we've not. No. The only time that I've even seen emotion out of you is when you had 7 Manhattans and you spiked the.
We were at the Riverwalk Final Four 2018 San Antonio. It was Saturday night. A lot of the bars were closing down. And you looked out on the water. And you said, "Isn't this beautiful?" And I said, "It's amazing, man. What an amazing weekend." And then you put your arm around me and tapped me on the shoulder twice.
No, that was actually.
I appreciate you.
Huh? No,
after a long pause. Pause, I appreciate
that
you.
was actually the guy from Raleigh with the chunky jeans whose radio station was set up next to us at Radio Row.
My man had True Religion jeans like 10 years after True Religion jeans were a
with
thing.
Like the pointy shoes.
I think he still shopped at the Buckle. I don't know. Some of those guys, it is what it is, right? It's the business, but some of those guys take you and I think people appreciated this, even on this show. We've never really taken ourselves very seriously. Totally. And some of those guys you meet at Radio Row, like it's their whole identity in life that they're
I mean,
sports
it is
talk
the
guy.
Biggest collection of egos and insecurities. And
it's a lot to have to deal with.
Which, I mean, on this program, granted, you get enough of insecurity, ego, right? I mean, we balance it out.
I think actually that's both on that side of the table. The ego from the insecurity right over there. Quick hits to get to. A couple more features as well as we wrap up episode 100. Aquarian Schultz.
Amazing.
On
Ben
ISC
Franklin.
Sports Network.
Other universities didn't fit into my life.
They said I'd have to quit my job to go to school.
They said it would take me 4 years to graduate. They said I have to take tests when they tell me to.
They said my degree would cost a fortune.
But I didn't have to listen to them.
Because I have a university that listens to me.
Tests on your time, courses on your time, graduate on your time. WGU, the University of You.
Hey, I'm Jeff Saturday, and my favorite thing when I was a professional football player was Indiana. The Hoosier State always made me feel like family. That's why I trust Indiana's hometown mortgage lender, Bailey & Wood. This family-owned company not only gives back to the communities they serve, but also with their 5-star customer service, they can close on your dream home in days, not weeks. So remember, Indiana, you can always get your mortgages in a snap with Bailey & Wood.
Hey, Jeff, how does this look? Yay!
Not bad, bud, but let's stick to mortgages.
Welcome back to Corey and Schultz, IC Sports Network. Thanks to Alan Hughes, Greg Rakestraw, Jordan Shue. You can't see them, but they're on the other side of the glass here. Making sure that this TV show's going.
You want to finish that off and then...
I needed I left my water in the other room.
Well, I'll take over. How's that?
Here, just give me some of your Polar Pop there.
No, that's unlikely.
Pop the lid, and then I'll chug it from
not going to happen.
What kind of Polar Pop is it?
It's Diet Mountain Dew with a little bit of Code Red.
Yeah, let me just get a hit of it real quick.
A hit of it, no. Not going to happen.
Why are you the way that you are when it comes to that? I know it's your birthday week, but you should share a little bit with me.
Mm-hmm. You think it's an endemic?
Stuck in my teeth.
I do too.
It's very good.
100 is a key number in this program. Like there's a 100% chance Derek will not touch my Polar Pop. In addition to that, Love Heating and Air has been around for over 100 years, and we're happy to talk about them here as they've been with us for all 100 episodes of Query and Schultz. Love-HVAC.com is their website. You could always find them, of course, there, as well as 317-353-2141 at Love Heat Indy on Twitter. Love Heating and Air Conditioning, like I said, over 100 years in Central Indiana. Family-owned business, 4 generations deep. Great product in keeping your house cool in the summer and warm in the winter, but dedicated to customer service. They know their product. They're passionate about it, but they also want to make sure that you are comfortable, which is why they have a 24-hour on-call maintenance. I've known these guys my entire life, folks, and I'm telling you, I would not steer you wrong. They bring us each and every week our Love That Play. And, Derek, your nominee is?
Malik Willis really showing out for the Titans here in the preseason. Had a 50-yard run, then threw a tud sidearm.
Touchdown.
In the preseason game, sidearm tud throw. So Malik Willis has been extremely impressive so far.
He was a highly coveted player coming out of the draft, and then he kind of fell in the draft. I never really understood why he fell.
Yeah, number 86, which was a surprise. There was some speculation he might
first
fall into
rounder,
the
right?
second round, but he fell all the way into the third round. And look, scouts know more than we do, right? Scouts miss sometimes, but no one liked this quarterback class. I mean, Kenny Pickett waited till the 20th pick to get selected. But if you look at what Pickett's done, 29 of 36, 261, 3 tuds, no picks. And then Malik Willis, just with his athleticism, you know, maybe that's found money. Unfortunately, 2 AFC teams for the Colts to have to deal with the Steelers and with the Titans.
But again, Derek, it's hard to say, and I agree.
Speaking absolutes,
you'd rather
right?
have this than not, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, Ryan Leaf looked great in his preseason, you know?
Speaking in absolutes right now, it's still so early. It's really stupid to do. But I do wonder how long it'll take for Pickett to be the QB1 there in Pittsburgh, because
you know what?
I think there's a real chance that
you know
he
what
could
they
get
say is going to happen?
What's that?
If Mitchell Trubisky is starting and fans get unruly or fans get restless with it, you know what they plan to do?
Pickett the team to start Kenny Pickett?
No, just calling the radio shows and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. That was the joke you were going with, right?
Pickett for Pickett.
Yeah. Yeah, very good.
He's the guy with I figured you liked him though because he's got little hands.
He did have small hand size, yeah. But you know what I always say, because I also have small-ish hands, like not small per se, but when they're balled up into a fist,
what's your
doesn't
hand
matter
size?
how small they
Have you
are.
ever done the hand size deal?
My hand size is a little bit on the small end.
What is it?
I don't want to say publicly what it is. It's a little bit on the small end. It's slightly below average.
Okay. Did you do the thing?
I did.
What was it?
I'm not gonna publicly state.
Mine
it.
was like 10 and a quarter.
Like I'm not gonna tell you my BMI and either like that's not information I'm gonna publicly share.
Okay.
Yeah. But what I always say is that hand size doesn't matter, because when this is hitting your eye socket, it feels the same as it would be with large hands.
Are you like Little Mac? Like, do you jump when you do that?
Little Mac, a heavyweight champion on Mike Tyson's punch.
Only with the cheat code.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I could get through everybody.
Okay.
You know who always gave me problems in that game?
Soda Popinski.
No, he was easy.
Piston Honda.
Bald Bull, I had trouble timing out the Bald Bull charge. Remember, he'd do the hop, hop, and then uppercut. And for some reason, I'd always screw that up.
You could kind of see it coming, right? Didn't they all kind
You
of
could.
forecast?
It was all about timing with that game, with everything.
Have you ever thought about how politically incorrect all of the fighters are?
Yeah. The Asian one is Piston Honda, I believe.
That's Piston
right?
Honda.
E100 was Street Fighter. Great Tiger had a turban with a jewel that blinked when he was about to attack you.
Yes.
It's a little much.
It was an awesome game, though.
Yeah, it was an incredible game. And then you had originally
Soda
Tyson.
Popinski would get me. Would always he was tough.
Wow, God, you were a noob then.
What do you mean?
It was originally Tyson, and then the rape allegations happened, or the arrest happened in Indianapolis, and then they re-released the game with the Sandman as the last opponent,
Gotcha.
I believe.
What do you mean I'm a newbie?
You're a noob. If you had trouble with Soda Popinski, then you weren't a gamer.
He's the second to last fighter
No, he's not.
before Tyson.
No. Super Macho Man was the second to last fighter.
Ooh, you positive
Soda
about that?
Popinski was like maybe number 4.
Maybe I'm getting them confused
Yeah.
then.
Are you thinking of Great Macho Man? He kind of had like a ponytail. Or Super Macho Man.
Hold on. Tyson's Punch-Out. I'm going to
Yeah.
tell you. Should I look this up in the break and then get back to
No,
you?
look it up. I've got it right here on my computer.
I've got it right here.
Okay.
Gameplay. Let's see. No, hold on.
You have to just go down to
Characters. Okay, Glass
Characters.
Joe, Von Kaiser, Piston Honda, Don Flamenco, King Hippo, Great Tiger, Bald Bull, Soda Popinski, and then Mr. Sandman, Super Macho Man. I don't remember Super Macho Man. Maybe I'm thinking of Mr. Sandman.
Yeah. Sandman was tough.
Okay.
Or sorry, wait, Sandman, and then wait, Tyson's character was it Mr. Dream?
Mike Tyson or Mr. Dream.
Yeah, okay, that's what it was. That's what I was thinking of. Sandman was the penultimate one, I think, before you got to Super Macho Man. So he was third in line.
Correct.
Yeah. Now that's right.
I just remember Soda Popinski had the little bottle of pop and he'd laugh at you.
He'd just be chugging it in the corner. Remember, they'd have like the dialogue between the fighters in between rounds. But I rarely went in between rounds because I usually was first round TKO. Bang.
Okay.
On to the next level. And then Mac riding with the trainer on the bike.
Dun,
Dun, dun, dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
You remember all that.
We
We got quick hits now to get to. I could just talk about this all day. We should
it's
just
the
do a full
best.
episode on Nintendo games. Quick hit number 1. We'll start with a little bit of racing. Austin Dillon wins at Daytona and grabs one of the final chase spots with it.
That race took 3.5 days.
Yeah, there was like a 4-hour weather delay.
It was a little
And they were
ridiculous.
supposed to run Saturday night, weren't they? Isn't that usually a Saturday night race?
Yeah.
Regardless, Dillon is in the chase, and Martin Truex Jr. is
He got bounced, right?
Not,
Yeah.
yeah. And Ryan Blaney ended up getting into the chase as well. I just don't pay attention anymore.
It's a little confusing to follow.
Those are at least 3 drivers that I'm familiar with.
Right.
I know all 3 of them. Quick hit number 2, Rory battles back to win the FedEx Cup title, 18 milli.
How about that?
18 million bucks. He was 6 shots behind when the Tour Championship started, 10 shots back after 2 holes, but he rallied from a 6-shot deficit in the final round against number 1 player in the world and Masters champ Scotty Scheffler. Had a 4 under 66 in the final round, and it is the 3rd time that he's won the FedEx Cup. So not bad for a guy that's been the most
Likeable
in PGA
guy, right?
Tour's corner too in a very tough time for the tour.
Right. Very likable guy.
It's been nice to have that. Quick hit number 3. You remember the TikTok skateboard guy with the cranberry juice cocktail?
Yeah.
And what was it?
Fleetwood Mac, right? 2 years ago?
Was it Fleetwood Mac?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe that's what it was. He skated, into our hearts, went viral. I think he was the first real viral TikTok video, right?
Totally.
At least here. I know TikTok was big
He was.
overseas. He is apparently doing something. Why did I put this in there? Oh, he earned a guest spot on a TV show, Reservation Dogs.
I've heard it's a good show.
Yeah.
I've heard it's a really good show.
Is it a take on Reservoir Dogs?
No, our friend Hans has recommended it to me.
Okay.
It is fictional, but it's about a group of kids growing up on a Native American reservation and about their attempt and their struggle to get out and to
Gotcha.
move on. I've heard it's absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, comedy series. It's about 4 Native American teenagers who live on a tribal reservation in Oklahoma. And apparently he is a Northern Arapaho of descent. So he got a cast.
That's
He
cool.
got casted. Yeah, pretty cool. So good for him.
Very cool.
I heard when he went viral, I don't know if it was like Ocean Spray or somebody cut him a big check. I
Well,
feel like.
Ocean Spray
'Cause
is what he was
homeless,
drinking, right?
Right?
Was
Yeah.
it really?
I'm pretty sure he was homeless.
Okay.
And I don't know if they did like a GoFundMe or something for him, but like he ended up coming into some money because of that video,
Good for him.
which is cool.
Yeah, it's a cool
What
video.
a funny video.
It was just
So random.
just skating and chilling.
There was just something like if he was just skating to the song itself, maybe that still goes viral, but there was just something about chugging like a bottle
Totally.
of Ocean Spray cranberry juice that just kind of made that video.
I would agree.
I have a TikTok account at Schultz Derek on TikTok.
You get a lot of viral videos.
It's hard to get views on there. I don't have the cachet that I do on Twitter, so I don't know if people yet realize what a big deal I am. I did apply for verification, but
Okay.
You
Now
know,
the Chinese government has all your info now, right?
I don't know. Is that still a conspiracy theory or whatever?
I'll
You
bet
know what's
plenty.
funny? We've got Chateau Kitchen's Biter Bowl Bleep coming up. Our designer, Megan, you have like a thing on TikTok where you can link your phone and it goes through your contacts and it says all these people are on TikTok. So I'm going through and I'm like, oh, like, Rob Doty has a TikTok. Remember him? Like, has a
He's the
TikTok
hugger,
account.
right?
I scrolled down and I was like, who is this person here? and it's, whatever, the user, whatever, and it's a picture of her, Megan, and she's got like 31,000 TikTok followers. And I'm like,
Really?
oh my God.
That's about what I'd have after a couple weeks, right?
I don't know. You don't really play with that. I'm more in the TikTok crowd. Like, I'm still very popular, like teenager to 35. Like,
You're big with teenagers?
I'm viewed as like a hip kind of guy that is still kind of with it. I mean, I have a TikTok account. You don't. You're going to be 50 coming up here this weekend. I mean, your hair kind of speaks for it.
Okay. I'm Jake Query.
You're
And
old.
up next, we will do Buy It or Bull Schultz, along with myself and Roman Polanski on
think
this,
you're
the
lame.
100th show of Query and Schultz.
You can knock me if you want. People think you're lame. I'm big with the younger crowd.
Apparently so. We'll be back. Maybe.
Going to end on that? Actually, we got one more.
Hey, I'm Jeff Saturday, and my favorite thing when I was a professional football player was Indiana. The Hoosier State always made me feel like family. That's why I trust Indiana's hometown mortgage lender, Bailey & Wood. This family-owned company not only gives back to the communities they serve, but also with their 5-star customer service, they can close on your dream home in days, not weeks. So remember, Indiana, you can always get your mortgages at a snap with Bailey & Wood.
Hey, Jeff, how does this look? Yay!
Not bad, bud, but let's stick to mortgages.
Your life is on the go. Now your viewing habits can be on the go. With the ISC Sports Network app, your team is at your fingertips. You can download years' worth of content from the ISC Sports Network library. High school, college, special events, weekly and monthly shows, wherever you find your favorite app. And you can always find out more information at iscsportsnetwork.com.
Back for final time is Query and Schultz, ISC Sports Network. Thanks so much for joining us on the program today, episode 100.
The Colts have made a release, Derek.
Oh, boy. I don't think I got the alert.
Not surprising.
I did not get the alert. Oh, is this from the team or is this via Twitter?
From the team. By the time this airs, this will be common knowledge. Would you like to guess?
Ellinger made the team.
That has not been announced.
Okay. So it's somebody that's been released.
Correct. Now, for those that are curious, you're going to see a lot about players being cut or waived. Waived, after a certain amount of time in the NFL, you earn the right, if you are released from a team, to be able to handpick where you go moving forward. So, and I can't remember if it's at the 3-year mark or number of games played, but at a certain point as a veteran, you are released, which means you are free to go wherever you'd like. If you are still within a certain parameter of the NFL and you have not basically gotten tenure, then you are waived, which means there's a process where teams line up to potentially take you and you do not have the freedom to choose where your next team is. This player would have been waived, Derek.
Ben Banigou.
Nope. He would be released because he would have tenure, I would think.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was the other way around. I was looking in here. I wasn't all the way paying attention to your diatribe there. I don't know. Hit me with it.
You watched this player a lot in college, and I'm guessing rooted for this player in college. It is not a surprise, quite frankly, probably
Rochelle?
a surprise this player made it this long.
Did he get released?
Who?
Rochelle?
It was not him.
Okay. He played at Notre Dame. Who else do they have at Notre Dame on the roster?
Do you follow Notre Dame and the Colts?
Oh, Jack Cohn. Yeah. I mean, it was a fait accompli that Jack Cohn knew that Jack Cohn wasn't going to make it out of camp. It's right. Surprised he made it past the first round of cutdowns, right, because he did not particularly look good.
But yes, Jack Cohn has been waived by the Indianapolis Colts.
Rochelle's not even on the roster anymore, is he? I don't think he was in camp with them.
Rochelle. Isn't that like a musical of some sort?
He was on the team last year. I don't think he was in camp with them, actually.
It is time for Buy It or Bull Schultz, where Derek makes a statement. I say whether I buy it or whether I consider it to be complete Bull Schultz. And it's brought to us, Derek, by Chateau Kitchen.
Chateau Kitchen, chateaukitchens.com, at Chateau Kitchens on Instagram, on Facebook. They need a TikTok account.
Chateau Kitchens.
Chateau Kitchens is how you say it.
Chateau.
No, just Chateau Kitchens.
Okay.
That's how you say it. They're going to take care of your home renovation project like they've done in my home.
What is
my
this?
my home looks amazing.
What is
this?
This
means it's Schultz approved.
And the biting of the lip?
Yeah. I didn't bite my lip.
You look like Billy Crystal trying to dance somewhere. If you know what?
God, Billy Crystal?
I just noticed this.
See, this is why you don't have a TikTok account, why you're not popular among younger people.
I just noticed this.
Billy Crystal.
If I do this, I think people can see there that, the moves that I have. There's a sexiness to me.
It's a little bit like with your chest and everything. It's like a lava lamp where it just kind of flows with you a little bit.
This is for 50. This is working.
I mean, yeah, that helps you sleep at night. I know 50-year-olds that run those Spartan run marathon things.
Okay.
So you're not doing that. Then again, with the bad heart and everything. Lucky you're just still here. Statement 1. Ryder Bowbleep. Teams will regret passing on Kenny Pickett and Malik Willis until late.
It certainly looks that way, Derek. Again, it's hard to say in the preseason because you're not seeing great defensive looks. You're seeing pretty vanilla things, right? But they seem to have, and I think both of them in college showed good leadership, seem to be good guys. So I'll say yes, eventually teams are going to regret it.
I think they're going to regret waiting until 86. I mean, I thought Malik Willis was worth maybe at least a second-round flyer once he got late. But that means every team in the NFL passed on him at least once.
A lot of that is dependent upon just who is in a position where in the next couple of years they're going to need a quarterback.
Yeah, and if not twice, if not 3 times, but still, I mean, we're talking about preseason. Everybody looks great in the preseason. So I guess I'll buy it, but we don't know. We don't know anything yet. This is a slow time for NFL news, too. We're trying to make mountains out of molehills with everything that happens. Nebraska football will never win a Big Ten football championship.
Ever, in my lifetime?
That's what it says.
I'm actually going to say that's bull, Schultz, because they're in the West.
Yeah, and never.
Yeah,
I mean Michigan State's won the Big Ten, right?
Yeah.
I don't think Nebraska will ever be elite again, so I'll buy that.
Fair.
I don't think they'll ever be like a national. If you said, gun to my head, Nebraska will never win a national championship again in your lifetime, I'd say buy it.
Which happens first? Nebraska gets back to the Big Ten championship in football, or Indiana wins the Big Ten championship in basketball? Tournament.
Oh, the tournament or wins the league?
Tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I still think it's Indiana.
Okay.
Nebraska just getting to the game is more likely than them actually winning because that's how big the gap is.
Correct. I mean,
but then again, these divisions are going to go away. But still, that's going to be even that much more difficult when you add in USC, certainly, to the mix, because there's another program that is now above where Nebraska currently is, and there are a lot of programs that are there. Statement 3, September is the best sports month. Ryder Bowbleep.
Boy, that's good. I still think it's probably March or May. But it's way
because
up there.
There's more on the line.
It's
September
You're
there's
right.
no champion. Well, IndyCar, but outside of that, there's no championship.
But there's a lot going on, though. You know what I mean?
Just pound for pound events and the cornucopia of sports. I think you would say September's way up there.
Cornucopia.
So you've got baseball. You've got
college football.
Yeah.
NFL.
I mean, to me, I think October's number 1. March is number 2. May's 3. That's how I would do it. Yeah. But September's right there just because there's something every night in September, which is great. But I miss the NBA. The NBA is not happening. College hoops isn't happening in September. So best sports month, I think, is a little bit of a reach for that.
Fair. I mean, you wrote it. I didn't.
Thanks to all of our great sponsors, Chateau Kitchens, Ryder Bowbleep, right? Lou Malnati's Pizzeria and the Lou Malnati's Studio, Bailey and Wood Financial Group, Hoagies and Hops.
Love heating and air conditioning.
Love heating and air conditioning.
Much thanks to all of them.
Everybody. Did I leave anybody out? I don't think I did.
so.
I think I got everybody. For Jake Query, who's turning 50. He'll be 50 the next time.
Apparently, I'll be seeing you Saturday.
Yeah. If I kick in the back door, apparently.
That's right.
I'll hide in the broom closet overnight, make myself comfy, and then make an entrance because people are expecting me to be there.
For you, it's the whisk broom closet.
People are expecting me to be there.
Okay.
I'll just put it that way. I've previewed the guest list, and all of them are very excited about having me there. Thanks to Alan Hughes, Greg Rakestraw, and Jordan Shue. We will see you for episode 101, Corey and Schultz, next Monday, or Tuesday, after Labor Day.
Okay.
On ISC Sports Network.
Tuesday it is.
Other universities didn't fit into my life.
They said I'd have to quit my job to go to school.
They said it would take me 4 years to graduate. They said I have to take tests when they tell me to.
They said my degree would cost a fortune.
But I didn't have to listen to them.
Because I have a university that listens to me.
Tests on your time, courses on your time, graduate on your time. WGU,